All right, let's talk about driver's mentality. Now, I'm not going to do anything specific for each of the drivers or one driver for this weekend. I think they all need to do this. If you're Charles Leclerc, you should build yourself a weekend. If you're Max Verstappen, you should build yourself a weekend. If you're Franco Colapinto, you must build yourself a weekend. If you're Liam Lawson, you should build yourself a weekend. If you're Yuki Tsunoda, you need to build yourself a weekend as well. So what does that actually mean? Like, build yourself a weekend? Well, let's jump over to the whiteboard. I'm going to explain to you how you build yourself a weekend and how you go about winning the Monaco Grand Prix, because it is as much about your mentality going into the weekend and your qualifying as it is about the race and everything else on Sunday. So let's bring up the whiteboard. We're going to grab a new page here. So bear with me, and I'm going to tell you the mindset for everyone, driver's mentality going into the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. Monaco, this is how you win the race, guys. And I've spelt it incorrectly. I can't do two things at once. Give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Monaco. Okay, so this is where it starts. Now, pole position is approximately equal to the race win. So your eyes, therefore, are not here on the win. That's wrong. Your eyes are here on pole position. How do I get this? If you're Max, you need to do this. If you're Leclerc, you need to do this, because pole is approximately equal to the win. So that's where all my focus is. Now, how do you get pole position? We need confidence. You need a good car setup. You need to know everything about the track. You need to have tried a lot of things in practice. And crucially as well, I think you need to spend a lot of time on the qualifying tire. If you see these guys in practice tomorrow, running around on hards, doing long runs, getting data for the engineers, garbage, 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 garbage. I'm not interested in a hard tire. In fact, I would barely touch it all weekend until the race. I would bring as many soft compounds as I could, and then and mediums as well, and would focus on cleaning up the track in the first session and staying alive. And FP2 and FP3, I'm working on light fuel and I'm working on soft compound tires. So that's where a lot of my work is going to be done. So I'm going to write that down here. These are the key things: light fuel and the soft tire. Whether it's the soft or whether that's the C5 or the C6, I don't really care, to be honest. But I think the light fuel, setting up the car for light fuel. Again, I just want to highlight to you guys, I do not care about the long run pace of the car. If the tires fall apart, I don't care. And I'll just react to whoever boxes. My eyes are here. You know, if this is you, right, your eyes are here. Pole, that's all you're worried about. And how do you get that? Practice this. So we're going to talk now about how you build confidence during the weekend as well. So I'm going to draw a little graph for you. Let me get rid of some of this beautiful drawing for a sec. I'm going to draw for you how you go about fighting and competing for pole position during the weekend. Okay, so two axes over here. This is time, right? This is FP1. This is FP2. This is FP3. This is quali, and this is race. And on this axis, crucially, confidence. This is how you're going to get pole. It's the most important thing. Now, where you're aiming for is peak confidence in qualifying. You're aiming for peak confidence in qualifying. That's what we're aiming for, guys. Sema, I love this whiteboard. How good is the whiteboard, eh? Like, it's a genuine asset. Yeah, I'll bring up your question. T, long runs don't matter as much, really. When the race, you spend a lot of the race in traffic. Exactly, it doesn't matter. So you guys are on the same page here. You want peak confidence in qualifying, but how you get there is very important. You need to take the path, the straight line path, and you need to build on session by session. You need to complete FP1. Sorry, that should be here. You need, I've totally botched it. That should be there. Okay, so you need to complete FP1 and make it to this point, tick. That's some confidence. You've got some data, you've got some knowledge, you've cleaned up the track, you went around, had a look around, did a few laps, happy days, played with your brake balance, set the car up a little bit, cool. You're not doing anything special, you're not trying anything special at this point. You're literally just getting comfortable, getting the muscles working, getting the muscle memory, trying to hit your braking points, trying to feel how much grip is out there. FP1 done. FP2, now you might do what I said before. Start to work with a little bit less fuel in the car, start to work on the softer compounds of tire, and really try to understand how the car feels in this session in qualifying. Remember, this is your most representative session because it's the afternoon session on Friday, and it's going to be the afternoon on Saturday where your assessment is. That is, FP2 and qualifying are friends, right? They're the same time in the day, same conditions, same everything, okay? FP3, it's really important that you get the mentality back at FP1. So we go back here. FP3 and FP1 are friends. So again, dusty track, it's in the morning, it's had a bit of wind overnight, who knows what's been going on there overnight. Just get back out there and do the same thing as FP1. Get the muscles warm again, clean the track up, blah, 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 build the confidence, get familiar with everything again, and just get back in the seat. And then what you need to do is not make a mistake, crucially here in FP3, and jump up to peak confidence in qualifying. And we said before, qualifying is approximately equal to a race win. So if all you need to do is just move across to the race and just claim that position where you are. Now, let me explain to you why the street circuit rule exists and why, how impactful a crash or a little hiccup in practice can be. So let's say this is you in red. So you jump up to FP1, you complete the session, cool. FP2, you complete the session, happy days, tick. So you've done Friday well, everything's good. You come out in FP3 and try to continue on the same path that you did, and what happens? You make a mistake. So your confidence takes a drop. And now from there, you've got qualifying after that. So it's actually really hard for your confidence to come back up and meet this point in qualifying. It's almost impossible. What's more likely to happen is if you make a mistake in FP3, you're never going to make it to that position. You're probably only going to find the confidence that you had back in FP2. Now, the difference in lap time across here is huge. This is the difference between a 1 minute 10.0 and a 1 minute 10.5. That's all it is. It's just this, the confidence piece. So I wanted to call that out to you and show you how you build a weekend. What's the mindset for FP1? What's the mindset for FP2? What's the mindset for FP3? And how do you actually reach and achieve peak confidence come qualifying? That's the most important thing. So keep an eye out for this during the weekend. Yes, you're going to have that guy that sticks it in the wall along the way, Friday or Saturday morning, and just follow their weekend, particularly if it's close between, let's say, the McLarens, for example, and they're competing for pole. And they're close all weekend, but then one of them just has a little lock up and damages the front wing a little bit. It's not the damage that's the problem. It's here. It's the confidence, because you go into qualifying thinking, oh, I made a mistake. Am I good enough? Am I going to get pole? Am I really at one with the car here? All that self-doubt starts to come in, mate. That's worth lap time. That's not going to pay you come qualifying. So it's just important you build your weekend. The person who wins has done a good job of building themselves a weekend. I hope that makes sense, guys. And again, sorry for my clumsy whiteboard antics. I'll share with you an example now of mentality that didn't go so well in 2018, Max Verstappen. Max knows this now, but he didn't know this in 2018. And I'm going to share with you what happened in 2018. So check this out as your example. So this is 2018 results, and I'll zoom in, don't worry. Practice 3. And Daniel Ricciardo topped the session on a 1 minute 11.786. Max Verstappen was second in this session, FP3, remember, 1 minute 11.787. That is 1,000th behind. But here we go. Max has only done 14 laps and Daniel's done 23. Why is that? That's because Max stuck it in the wall in practice in that session, guys. And I'm going to show you, I'll bring up the pictures now. This is Max Verstappen in 2018 FP3. This is what happened. So yes, he was quick, but look what happened here. Big crash in the swimming pool chicane. And this damages your confidence. As it turns out, they couldn't actually repair this Red Bull, but I can guarantee you that no way Max will be competing for pole position after a crash like this at the swimming pool. So it was a clumsy one, an unnecessary one. Yes, he was trying hard, but this was a younger Max, you know, before he'd won champions, before he got professional mindset, professional mentality. I certainly don't expect Max to be making those sort of mistakes. He knows now what it takes to win. Daniel taught him a free lesson that weekend. And then we fast forward to qualifying. Have a look at this. These are the qualifying results in 2018. No Max Verstappen to be seen. Daniel Ricciardo took pole on a 10.8. He went on to win that race. And Vettel, Hamilton, Raikkonen, there's no Max. So presumably they couldn't rebuild that car in time, or there was some other damage to it. Again, that's another reason why you don't want to stack it in the wall in FP3. Very, very, very important, that FP3 session. Keep an eye out for that. Now, the other thing I wanted to call out to you guys was your first run in qualifying in that Q3 session, or even in any of the sessions, is very important. You need a lap time on the board because you never know when, like we said at the start of the stream, a Nico Rosberg, a Sergio Perez, a Charles Leclerc, or a Michael Schumacher is going to stick it in the wall and ruin your second lap. Max on the radio in 2024, he's like, this was the lap, man. I was on the pole lap. That's not good enough, Max, because you didn't do it when you had the chance to do it. And what I'm highlighting to is you might only get one chance to put a lap together in Q3. That lap needs to be a good lap. So Q3 is the time now to just give everything you have, right? All that confidence and building a weekend has to go out the window once you've made it to Q3. Of course, you're competing for pole. You're competing for approximately the race win. You've got to go for it. And so an accident in Q3, like I can forgive. An accident in FP3 is just dumb, not necessary. So you've got to know, as per Ayrton Senna, one of the words of wisdom, you've got to know when to give everything you have and when to keep everything you have. Keep everything you have in FP1, FP2, FP3, and give everything you have in qualifying. So I hope that makes sense. And that's the mentality for everyone this weekend. And I'm looking for that. I'm like, who's going to stick it in the wall, right? Will it be a Colapinto in the wall? Will it be a Sonoda? Will it be someone, Sema or a Colapinto? Exactly. So this is where the value of the driver, coach, and mentor. This is mentoring now. This is not anything to do with driving technique. This is an approach to the weekend that all the drivers are going to need to have to be able to have any chance of competing come qualifying. Now, I know we've spent a lot of time on qualifying, but it's going to be the highlight of the weekend. Hence why we're going to have a live stream afterwards.